Hey everybody, how are you guys doing? I am going to do a live today. This is for the I Long to Be Your Valentine Weiner Dog Live. Now, this is the part one of the live. I will be coming back on probably 2 more times because right now I'm going to show you, I'm just working on doing a base coat. So I'm going to base coat the heart red. The Weiner dog I'm going to do in the reindeer brown. And then I'm going to do the envelope in white, and I'm going to put a base coat of black back here, okay? So I'm going to show you some base coating. Now, because this is a lot going on, I'm going to put red paint all over here as my background. That's what I'm going to show you right now. And then, of course, when that red paint dries, I'm going to have to come in here with a script liner on all these white letters. And that's when I will do the lettering. So what I'm going to show you in this case, because sometimes I get asked questions like, how do I know what color to base coat? Hey, Phaedra, how are you? So I'm going to base coat my heart red because obviously the heart is red, and then I'll come back probably with one of these big round brushes and I'll do the white on top of that red because you want your letters on top of the white, on top of the red heart. And then I'm going to base coat this a reindeer brown. Now, because I know sometimes y'all will see me take a roller and base coat the whole thing in one color. I'm not doing that today. And the reason I'm not doing that today is it really doesn't serve me to base coat this all one color and then have to come back and put a lot of colors on top of that. So today I'm actually base coating 3 colors on this guy, if that makes sense. Now I'm going to start, y'all know I'm always using a mop brush. I'm going to start right here and I'm just going to do the heart, and I have quite a bit of paint on there. And I'm loading that brush. And then I just kind of come up here and I'm going close to where I'm going to meet that reindeer brown on the dog. So I'm just going, and it takes quite a bit of paint. And I'm just going in here. And then of course, I don't have enough paint on here, so I'm fixing to load it. Notice I go front to back, left to right, top to bottom, ever how you want to look at that. I kind of think of that as like cross hatching, or just kind of making sure that I'm going all the way to make I get all the paint on there that I want. Now this guy doesn't really have a whole lot of paint on the list. I think on the list we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 8 colors. So it's not, some of them have a lot. And I may put some pink on this guy. And if I do that, I'm just gonna mix a little bit of red and white. So that way, if you do wanna do pink, don't feel like you have to buy another color. Now, if you already have pink, then no worries, you can use that. But if you don't, we can always mix some. Okay, so kind of going back and forth. I got quite a bit of red on that end of my heart, so that's good. If you base coat red, how's the white gonna cover over it? It's gonna do a lot better than you might think. In fact, one of my favorite things is to base coat red and then put white on top. And it's almost opposite of what you would think. You know, you would kind of think, well, golly, that white will never cover that red, but it really does. My least favorite, and sometimes you have to do it depending on the scenario, but my least favorite, Phaedra, is to start with the white and put the red on top of white. That's a lot of work right there. Hey, Janet, how are you? I'm all about, of course I like painting, right? I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't. But I don't like to paint. Base coating is not my favorite part. But, you know, as painters, we all have parts that are more favorite than others. So I'm not a fan of doing a lot of base coating as far as making it a lot of work. That's just not my thing. Now, y'all can probably see I just have this. You can get this at any store. It's a Lazy Susan, and then I had the fellas put some kind of wood on there. I don't know what it is. But when I'm doing base coating like that, especially on a smaller piece, sure does help to have one of those. And I think they're like $2 at, you know, any of the stores you go to. You can get those little metal pieces of Lazy Susan. I call them Lazy Susan hardware. I don't know, that might be an old school name. I don't know if they're still called that, but anyway. So when I put a lot of paint on here, now the good news about using your mop brushes is I'm not gonna put another coat of red on here. I'm not gonna put it on here twice. Sometimes you'll hear Ashley say, I put 2 coats of white on there, or I put 2 coats of this or 2 coats of that. And typically we do that sometimes, but when she's talking about 2 coats of a base color, it's probably because she used a roller. But when I use a big mop, or use a mop brush, I'm gonna put a little bit more paint. But when I use a mop brush, I don't put 2 coats on here. I'm gonna put enough coat, because again, I'm not a fan of base coating, but if that doesn't bother you, you can always put two lighter coats. I have a lot of paint on here, which is why I kind of wanted to come on here early and show y'all that, so you can see before tonight. This has got to dry, obviously. Then I will start working on the shading and all that. Okay, so I'm doing a live, Paula, but you go on in, go on in. My sister's running errands for me today, so she has probably a question or two for me. I'm not sure. Are we good?
We'll talk about it.
Okay, so I am putting a base coat on this little wiener dog. Now, it's going to be harder to get that reindeer brown to cover as well as that red paint does. It's just the nature of the beast. I'm sure it's just the difference in the formulas, but I'm still going to put quite a bit of reindeer brown on here, and I'm still not going to I'll see if I have to come back and do another coat of reindeer brown. Since I'm not a fan of base coating, I'm going to put a lot of paint on here to see if I can get away with only 1 coat. And because I'm going to put a lot of fur on this guy, and I'll cover him up a lot, if you will, I think I can get away with it. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm just doing this part right in here, putting a lot of paint. I got my little Lazy Susan under here, and I can go over here like so, putting that paint right there. So I'm going to come up over here. And of course, this is that reindeer brown that I'm squeezing out. And I'm going to load that brush. Now, I'm going to try to go in here in a little bitty spot. That's his nose, and then his snout. And then I'm headed up to the top part of his head. And then coming over on the top part here. I'm going to go back. And what I would do in this case, I think I'm going to get away with only 1 coat of this reindeer brown. It's harder to only use 1 coat of reindeer brown. You got to put a lot of paint on here, y'all. So what I'll do, I've got a little bit of reindeer brown. I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to pick up this round brush, and I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to do his, I'm going to use this round brush to kind of come in here and do his little feet. Just in this little area right here. And all I'm doing is just picking up a little bit of paint. I'm doing it like that, since I still have a lot there. Oh, I better come down here and do this other legs. I forget about that. And I got too much paint up there, so I'm gonna bring it down here. So you can see I'm not spending a whole lot of time on base coating, but I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna do that. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this brush, and I've got water over here. I'm gonna clean it out. Hey sis, Con's watching me. Every time I go live, y'all, a lot of times I forward my phone to Connie because the stupid thing doesn't know how to stop ringing sometimes. So she'll be answering calls for people trying to get a hold of me. So because so I've got my hearts right here, and then I've got my envelope with the heart right here. So all of this space that you see kind of behind these hearts is black right here. So I'm gonna push, and better do it this way, because if I'm afraid I'll get too much black paint. Oh, that's gray. Hold on, y'all. Let me get a little cup. I'm going to just take my paintbrush, and I'm gonna and it's okay if I go over the lines a little bit where I'm gonna come back and put white. I'm gonna try not to, but it's okay if I do. And right now, all I'm doing is base coating, if you will, just the area in the back. Now, if I get over on some of these hearts, I'm not worried about that. Obviously, I don't want the black paint over the reindeer brown. I don't want it over that part. But I can have it over the hearts because I'm going to come back later and put some white on top of that. I'm not worried about that part. And all I'm doing is just kind of filling in this background. Got a lot of black background area. And you can see why it would be hard to do a live unless I painted like 3 of these all in one sitting. Now, what I do for the Academy a lot of times is if I plan on doing 3 lives on this guy. See, I'm gonna do one right now, and then I will be doing one probably in a couple of hours, and then I'll be doing the last one. But I will load all of those videos and edit them and put them together, and I'll lump them as one video, and I'll put them in the Academy. So if you can't catch it today, you can always catch all of them together, beginning to end, in the Academy. So I'm just kind of coming in here, painting a little in there, going down, going around. Ooh, I made a bobo. No big deal. And gonna come over here. Of course, I gotta paint my sides. Y'all know I always have to do that. And I'm just, you know, that black, all it is just a recess for everything to be on top. The eye won't be pulled necessarily to the black paint so much as the eye is gonna be pulled to all the colors of your envelope and your heart and your dog and all of that. So here we go, there we go, there we go. Okay, got all that, and I'm gonna, of course, do my sides like I always do. Just kind of hitting those sides really well. And then I forgot, I've got a little bit of red I need to do down here on this heart. So my heart kind of comes down, if I'm looking at it, maybe something about like that. So I'll probably just kind of come in here. I don't think we made a CNC line on that, but you gotta get the idea. I'm gonna come in here and put red. So let's see, I'm going to, now this round brush that I have, I don't think we have any at the store this size. Y'all, with COVID and everything, with the supply chain being what it is, one of these days we're gonna be able to carry all the brushes that we need all the time. And this is probably, I don't know, this is probably a number 8. I'm not sure because it's so old I can't see on it anymore. So I'm gonna put a little bit of red paint here and finish up my heart. Right now I'm just over here putting some water on this brush. Connie said, hey Carla, how are you? I thought, man, this little guy is super cute, but you know, it's gonna take a few, more than just one live to be able for y'all to see the whole process. And I like doing this better, I think, because this way, like Phaedra was just asking earlier some questions about, you know, will the white cover the red, stuff like that. When y'all watch me do that, and then you have a question, you know, you kind of get to learn something that day maybe. And that's kind of the point of what we're doing, is I want y'all to be successful much quicker than I ever was. And you know, it wasn't like my stuff didn't sell, it did. But the thing is, y'all, I made so many mistakes, costly mistakes. Hey Debbie, how are you? I hope you're having a good day. This will be the first of 3 videos. This is the first one. I'm just base coating this guy. And as you can see, I did number 20 red, and then I did reindeer brown on this guy. And I painted the black in here. I'm not worried. I'm gonna have to catch these later when this is dry. But right now, I'm gonna go ahead and put, oh y'all, I had some white paint. What did I do with it? White paint, oh, here it is. I'm gonna go ahead and do this envelope. And then notice I have quite a bit of paint. I might actually have too much, we'll see. And I'm just gonna take my round brush, kind of go back and forth and get a lot of paint in there, because I was saying earlier, I'm not a fan of base coating, so I try to put a lot of paint on there if I can. It doesn't always work. And then, you know, just go ahead and get in it that way. Go get a lot of paint on there and let it dry. You can always do 2 coats. Don't feel like you have to do 1 coat. You absolutely can do 2 coats. And it's probably better if you do. I'm just a little more impatient sometimes than I probably need to be. So I've got a lot of white paint, and I'm just bringing that paint where I want it, at the top part of my envelope right here. And then doing something like that. Okay, there we go. I've got a lot of paint on there, probably a little bit more than I need. So I'm gonna walk it over here and kind of put it on the side. Lord, y'all, just bought this shirt the other day. Oh well. The reality of my life is that probably everything I have is gonna have paint on it at some point. All right, so I've got that. I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So I've got a lot of paint on here. I did red on the heart, number 20, reindeer brown on the dog. Of course, you know, the black for the background, and then white for my envelope. I'm gonna come on here after a while. Can you imagine learning to paint with no Google or internet? I know. I don't know how we learned anything, because I'm the first one to run to Google. I'm the first one to run to YouTube. If it wasn't for YouTube, I couldn't figure anything out. So I don't know how we did it before then. But anyway, so I got him all base coated. In a couple hours, I'll come back on. And what I'm gonna do, but by tonight, when I do my last live, I'm gonna be ready to shade this guy, highlight and outline. So the next one, I'm gonna come in here, second out, and I'm going to do all my lettering and probably do some base coating over here after this guy gets dry. But like I tell you guys, I always, I'm gonna turn the camera off in a minute, but this thing will sit under a ceiling fan. Your friend, when it comes to trying to get paint to dry, it's always better to have air moving if at all possible. It's a sunny day. Honestly, I'll probably go put it outside. I didn't think it was that sunny. Today's January, so I'll go put it outside. It'll dry in about an hour. I'll come back and we'll start again doing the letters and showing y'all that. So y'all hang out with me in about another hour or so, and we'll keep moving. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Hey, everybody. Hope y'all are having a good afternoon. I am going to work on showing you on some shading, and then we're going to put the coat of white on these letters. On the video a little earlier, I just did a lot of base coating. So I've got some shading red, and what I'm going to do, before I actually do white on my letters, I'm going to go around my heart with some shading red, and I'll show you in a little bit why I'm doing the shading before doing the white letters. I'm not going to worry about putting a whole lot of shading on here, but I am going to put some. So I'm going to just kind of go around the perimeter here, doing some shading, and this is the shading red. If you don't have shading red, you can mix red with black, and that's all you need. Shading red is nothing other than red and black. Okay, so I'll come down here, and I'll do that on my heart. Now, I'm going to get some water. Hey, Alma, how are you? Oh, I bought that one. Oh, good. Earlier, I base coated the red, the reindeer, the black, and the white. And I actually did that in a live. And when I get through with all the lives, I'll put them together and I'll put them in the Academy so you can see it from beginning to end. So I actually just went ahead and put some shading red right here on my heart. Now what I'm gonna focus on, and this is gonna take me a little while because there's so much of it. Notice I have two script liners. I have a 4 and a 6. So the 4 is the smaller one and the 6 is the bigger one. And because I have so many words, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with the 6. And I'm gonna put quite a bit of paint in here, and you can see I've got quite a bit of paint on there. Not saying you have to have that much, but I tend to do that. That way I'm gonna get that white to cover that red really well. And if you look right here, I'm kind of going over this. You might can see why I shaded the red heart before I put the white on the letters, because I knew that white was gonna have to sit right on top of some of that red shading. Not by much, but just by a little bit. So I hope you are having a good afternoon. It's pretty sunny where I'm at here in Pearland. Not too bad. And actually it's a lot warmer than I thought it was gonna be. I'm just gonna put one coat of white on these letters. That's all I'm gonna put. But y'all know me, I'm gonna put a lot of paint on there. Carla, how are you doing? Hey, Joyce. And Tiffany, how are you? I'm so glad y'all could join me. I am just breaking this tutorial into 3 different segments because I have to let my paint dry. And Ashley and I really want the Academy to kind of have that experience of seeing just about every single step that you need. Because not everybody has seen me base coat or seen Ashley base coat. Some of you guys are new. So usually in the Painters Club, I don't go through this much as far as I'll probably just show up in the Painters Club with it already base coated. But in the Academy, I like to kind of show y'all all the ins and the outs and the good and the bad and the ugly, or however you want to say it. So I'm putting a lot of paint on here. And I had done this red base coat first a couple of hours ago. And actually, I put it out today. We've got a lot of sun. I put it out there. It dried in about an hour or so. So then tonight I'll be on at 7 showing you how to finish this guy. So right now, especially when I look at the letters I long, those are pretty big letters. Now when I get down to these smaller letters, I may go back down to a smaller script liner. But the script liner, if you can learn to control that, and it's not the easiest thing in the world, I get that. But if you can learn to control that script liner, you are home free as far as outlining and all sorts of things you can do. And I use the script liner to base coat on small areas. And these letters is what I would categorize as a small area. So a script liner isn't always just for highlighting, shading, or highlighting or outlining. You can base coat with a script liner in a small area. And that's what I'm doing right now. And I think I've told you guys, it's so hard to remember who I tell what to, but when I first started many years ago, I used paint pens to outline. And paint pens they're not bad, but they can get very expensive when you're doing something like yard art because it's just a big area. And so I used paint pens for probably several years. And my mother-in-law came in one day, and I'm in just south of Houston. She lived in Fort Worth, and they came down for a visit, and she looked at what I was doing, and she's like, oh no, it's time for you to learn to use the script liner. And I was like, what? I don't want to learn to use the script liner. Please don't make me learn to use the script liner. You know how it is when you have to learn something new? You're like, yes, Mary, I know how it is. I'm trying to learn how to use a script liner like you're doing right now. So anyway, she was kind of insistent, and so being the dutiful daughter-in-law, I said okay. And she went and got some brushes because I wouldn't have known what to buy. And she came in and we started playing around, and she was there for about a week, and we played with it, off and on for a week or so. And when she left, she's like, make sure you do not stop practicing. And I didn't, I kept it up, obviously. And so it can be a little intimidating at first, but that's the nature of doing anything new. And I'm going to learn to use something called, y'all will see it in the very near future, something called StreamYard. I've not used it. It's a technology that you use it going live, and y'all, I'm going to use that because it's going to give you 2 camera views. So I'll use my phone and my husband's phone on lives, and what I plan on doing is putting the phone up here so you'll see a view from the top right up here, and then of course there'll be a phone that you're used to seeing me on, the view that you see now. So you'll get a view this way, and then you'll get a view from the top. And but I have to learn the technology first. So I don't think if you are going to be on this planet and do anything, you're never going to get out of learning something new, particularly as it pertains to, technology. So when the day comes that you see a split screen on my lives, you will say, oh, she has that new technology she was talking about. And it's not anything other than I just have to take the time to learn it. And I'm sure once I get it down, I'll be like, it's not that hard, y'all. But in the process of learning, you feel like, okay, now what do I do? And so along those lines, I think y'all been seeing me, and Ashley's been posting some stuff on her. I think she posted it on the Painters Club. I'm not sure if it was on the Painters Club or not, but she posted that, and she's working on her shop. They're doing some remodeling. So I'm going to, it's the new year, so to speak, and I've never been one to you know, New Year's go, okay, I'm going to lose 15 pounds or make this New Year's resolution or whatever, because sadly we all know how that goes. I've never really been one to do that. But with that said, this is the end of the year, you know, coming into a new year. I've been doing some thinking, and I am going to, when I get a chance, remodel. I don't know if remodel is the right word, but we're not going to move walls or anything, but I'm going to kind of throw everything out of my art room and start all over again. And I was talking to Bruce about what I wanted to do, and he said, well, why are you doing that? And I guess the way I would explain it is, this little room that I'm in is actually a 2-car garage. It used to be our 2-car garage for our house. It's attached to the house. And this was converted from the garage to my art room in 2009 is when we did that. So, of course, we had to, you know, sheetrock it and electrical and the floor and all that kind of stuff. So I've been in this room for 11 years, and it's been good, and I'm glad we did it. But you know what I did, how I did business 11 years ago is really different from how we do business now. Hey, Victoria, how are you? And so I'm going to kind of throw everything out of this art room and start all over again. So there'll come a time when you see me on a split screen using that StreamYard that I was talking about, and you'll see a new background and all that. But I think the best way I can explain it is this. This room has worked for me for a lot of years, and I'm grateful to have had it. Certainly, I've had a lot less at work areas. And to me, this is a great work area. But it isn't what I need anymore. When we built this in 2009, I wasn't doing lives, you know. Certainly wasn't doing the volume of work that I'm doing now. And you cannot, or I feel like just because something worked in 2009 doesn't mean it's going to work for 20 more years. So I'm kind of excited about it. I'm looking at some different storage options, because part of my problem is storage. Y'all, I think y'all have seen some of Ashley's pictures. She's got a lot bigger setup than what I have. Mine is pretty small compared to hers. And so I'm going to rip this room out, and we're going to get different storage, configure the storage much differently than what it's configured now. We're going to have some more electrical runs, so I can do things like have fans when I'm trying to get stuff to dry. I have some fans, but they've gotten really old on me, and I need some new ones. And then I'm going to have a different backdrop for what y'all see on the lives. And basically going to kind of make it look a lot nicer and have a much better storage system than what I have right now. Because what I have right now is fairly old. But you know, you cannot bring in anything new and different and better or improve if you hang on to the old all the time. That's not to say you need to throw everything out, but there are times when you just need to say, okay, that used to work for me and that's great, but it doesn't work for me anymore. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing. In January, going to be tearing this out, and I think it'll only take about 4 or 5 days, because it's, like I said, we're not moving walls or anything. But I do need a different background. I do need much different storage setup than what I have. And that's really what I need more than anything. Different storage, and all my lives are done in here. Ashley has a really big space, but I don't. So that means I have to be very very thoughtful, I guess is the word I would use, on the space that I do have. But you know what? I don't worry about how big my space is or isn't, because I feel like no matter what space you have, you fill it up no matter what. Yeah, I know. You know, hey Tina, how are you? I just think that it's the new year, and I've really reflected on a lot of things from 2020, and I think most of us have. But I just I don't think it's working for me anymore. And at the time when we did this in 2009, y'all, I thought this was just like the cat's meow. This is very nice compared to what I used to work in. And so, you know, I never lose sight of that, because when I first started painting many years ago, I painted in a little bitty building in our backyard that my husband built. And when I tell y'all, it was maybe 10 feet wide and maybe 12 feet long, you know, very small. And was grateful that I had that, you know. So some people have to paint in their garage, in their kitchen, you know, so I'm not complaining at all. But if you can make your space work better for you, I think it's a good thing. And I think a lot of it, honestly, it's psychological too, helping you move from one phase to the next, or helping you kind of set up doing something different. Because like in 2009, I would have never thought about doing lives, you know, because that just wouldn't have never been even in my mind. But you never know what the world is going to do. And certainly after 2020, I don't think any of us can even figure it out anymore, y'all. And if people can figure it out, I wish they'd explain it to me, because I don't understand it. So, yeah, I fill up everything because you know you'll need it again someday. Or she's painting in the living room. Yeah. There's a lot of people that do that, you know, so I get it. I get it. Now, you know, if for us living in Pearland, we have a pretty big yard because we have an older house and it's on an older lot. So my house was built in 1964. So yes, we've done a lot of remodeling, but I still don't have big enough closets, because in 1964, they just didn't give you closet space. That's just not what they were worried about back then. So a lot of people have a lot nicer, bigger homes than what I have, but I'm all good, y'all. I'm all good. And I feel like I'm blessed because I have what I want and I want what I have. So it's all good. I'm just trying to fill in these letters because to me, the whole point of this whole thing, other than the dog, is the lettering. The dog and the lettering. Of course, the hearts over here and the little envelope are cute too. But the main focal point is just your lettering and your dog. So I'm going to call that a success. I may go back and do a little bit of touch up. But, so you can see, now what I might do is I got a few lines over here. I'll get a smaller brush later tonight when I do my third live on this. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the white. I'm planning on doing a little bit of white around this heart, like so. Now I'm going to make these, I think I'm going to make these hearts pink. I'm going to mix a little bit of red. I didn't put pink on the supply list because I didn't think I needed to. I'm going to show y'all how to do a little bit of mixing so you can get the pink you need. Now obviously if you have pink and you want to use pink, go ahead and do that. But I'm going to put the white first. And the reason I'm going to put the white first, honestly, is the white is a little bit harder. And I want my pink to look like it's on top. I want the white to look like it's behind the pink, if that makes any sense. And of course I got to do my little sides right here. So I'm going to do that real quick. And we actually have 4 small hearts up here, and then of course you have that heart. So all I'm doing is just taking this and going between the little curvy line and the heart. And then I'm going to come up like so. And you can tell if I make a little boo-boo, which is very possible, I just take my finger and kind of wipe it off on the table and call that good. And then I'm going to come up here like so, like so. Just kind of going on that wavy line. And I think I even said it earlier, what I'll do on this is I will put these videos together and join them together, and I'll put them in Yard Art Academy. So if you want to go watch the thing from very beginning to very end, you can do that. And I was just going to encourage y'all too, if you want to go, you're ever looking for videos, you can go look at them in the Academy, and they're a lot more organized with thumbnails. And so, you know, it's easier to find them than, I know, flipping through Facebook. Even on Facebook, if you'll go to photos or media and then click on videos, at least that'll take you to all the videos. but there's probably a lot of them in there. And they don't have thumbnails. So, but in the Academy, they have thumbnails so you can kind of see really quickly if you're searching for something in particular. Those thumbnails are your friend because they show you. I put the photo on the thumbnail of the finished product. So you'll see exactly as you can just kind of scroll through there and see what's there. All right, I'm almost done with this. And then I think what I'm gonna do, got a little bit of white in here. And I'm gonna make that go down in there like so. And of course I'm gonna do my side right quick. Now I'm gonna put a little bit of white and red. Let me show you. Not a whole lot. Do that, about that much. It is reindeer brown, it is. Now, y'all, I gotta stop right here. I got a little problem. The paint doesn't want to come out. There we go, I got some out. Okay. Now, this paint is a little bit thick for my taste, so I put a little water in there. And I'm just, you know, obviously, I'm just gonna do it till I eyeball it and get the pink that I like. You can mix this if you want and get any shade you want. It doesn't really matter. It's just kind of whatever you like. I think that's good right there. So I'm gonna wash this out over here in the water. Take my little paper towel and yeah, reindeer brown, Carla, that's what it is. If you want it to look like this one, you know, that's what I use. Reindeer brown is usually my go-to for any animals, a lot of animals and or gingerbreads. And I like it because it's got just enough yellow in it or orange in it to make it kind of warm looking, you know. It's sometimes browns can get very gray, and if you have a gray brown, there's certain applications I'm sure that that's appropriate, but so much of the time in yard art we're doing animals and stuff like that. You really want a warm brown. And then if you start with too dark a brown, then your shading doesn't show up. So that's why the color palette that we have is just something that I've used over and over and over and over and over, and then tweaked and tweaked and tweaked and tweaked and tweaked. And my mother-in-law, when she was still here, she passed away in '06. She did a lot of input on it too, and just really, you know, I remember one time she and I were in my art room and we just got out. Back then I was using a little bit of acrylics paint and I wasn't having a lot of luck, but anyway, I got the acrylics paint. You know how you can get them from like Michael's in those little bitty jars about like that. And what I did is, I didn't do it, but my mother-in-law's idea was we took out every little brown acrylic paint that we had, every color that we had. I think I probably had 10 of them. And we lined them up, one right after the other, what we thought of as light to dark. The lightest brown on this end, the darkest brown on this end. And, you know, studied each one in between. And really kind of came up with that color palette of brown by process of elimination, by looking at some browns and going, this is too dark, or this is too gray, or this is too light, or this is too this, or this is too that. And then I started getting them custom mixed based on some swatches from the little acrylic craft stuff. But the problem with that, they don't always, I don't know, it doesn't always mix right, you know. So it's definitely very, very much been a work in progress. But that's how the whole paint palette thing that we have now, that's how that got started. And I think I'll go ahead and do this little guy right here. And I do like the pink. I deliberately made it a little bit dark because I knew it was going to be on against that white. I didn't want it a real light pink because then I wouldn't have enough of a contrast. So, all right, so I'm going to do this like so. And then I'm going to show you one other thing, and then we're going to let all this dry. Now, while I have this out, I'm going to put a little bit of white on his eye here. Where's my paper towel? Hold on, y'all. I gotta get a paper towel. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit of white right here because I just need some white in here for that eye. And I think while we're at it, what I'll do put that in there. I'm gonna get a flat tip brush and we're gonna do some shading on this guy. So with my flat tip brush, that's what I use as a shader. This one is a number 12 flat tip. And y'all know that I like to use, I usually use shading brown, but I think I'm gonna try something different. I actually put nutmeg on here, and I put that on the label on the back. So some of you might have bought that. So I'm gonna try some nutmeg here, kind of give it a little bit of a different look. I got to put some water in here because that nutmeg is a little bit thick on me. You don't have to do this, but I'm gonna do it just to show you. I have a rake brush, and I've kind of been playing with them lately. The secret to this is putting paint on there and then taking it all back off. So I've got it on here and I just kind of brush it back off. And then I'm just gonna lightly go down here. I'm trying to kind of get the look of fluffy fur, hair, you know, kind of whatever you want to think of it as. And then I would just kind of go with what I think the direction of the body would be, meaning the nose would be here and go down. And I'm just putting a little bit of paint on each time. And I'll come up here. And I just like the look that it gives when you're trying to do fur. Now, you can go to Amazon. I think Debbie said that Amazon did have some rake brushes. I had looked at one point on Amazon. I couldn't find any, but that's been several months ago. So, you know, for how that goes. So I've got the nutmeg. Now, don't feel like you have to use the nutmeg. You can use the shading brown. That would be a good one too, if you like the brownish more. That shading brown has a lot of red in it, so I chose to go with something that had a little bit more brown to it. And I'm just taking that rake brush and I'm just putting on a little bit of paint and making my brush strokes. That's all I'm doing. Kind of going down here, the direction of what I think the animal would be going, you know, if that makes any sense. And you can put as little or as much paint on here as you want. So I'm gonna do like this, like that. And then of course there's this little behind. I'll kind of make a curl over here. Y'all, I can't get over how good the weather is today. It's like, man, it's been so good. Nah, don't like that, hold on. Okay, so let's kind of go back. And then of course here's his tail. His tail's tucked under here. And we're going to come up here. And then I'm going to kind of do some more. Then I'm going to take my flat tip brush, which is what we work with all the time, right? And I'm going to just put some paint on there like I do. And I'm going to kind of come over that a little bit, if you will. I'm just going around the edges of the ear at this point to where that ear can kind of come like that. And then I'll do something like this. Just come up here. And then here's his little lip, if you will. Do something like that. That's such a cool thing, y'all, to paint something and just kind of see it start coming to life. It is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then again, I'm just coming and shading in here. Like this. I'm going to come up under his belly some. And then here's his hip, if you will. That's his hip. And then I'm going to come up like so here. Just giving some definition to his feet and paws. And then I'm going to come over here. So don't feel like you have to use that rake if you don't want to. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put some more brush strokes in here. Just using this brush, okay? So between the rake brush and the flat tip brush, I've got some different looking strokes. There's his paws. Give me a little bit more paint here. All right, there we go. So, and then I think I'm good. I've got pretty much everything I want. With the exception, I am going to put some sky blue on my envelope, and then tonight I'll get back on here and show y'all the, we'll do the finishing. I'll do the finishing touches tonight. Not we, but I. All right, you know, I do, Victoria, I didn't know if I was going to like that nutmeg up here, but I thought, you know, we use the reindeer brown so much, and I like reindeer brown. Don't get me wrong, but I just think the nutmeg makes it look a little bit darker and brownish. And so I really like, y'all, the lighting isn't very good because the sun is coming through the window. I needed to have closed the blind. Well, that thing doesn't have a blind anymore. Oh well. Okay, so I have some sky blue. Let me kind of shake it up a little bit. I did put sky blue on here. You of course don't have to buy the sky blue if you don't want it. You don't, you know. And always remember, the labels are just suggestions. You do absolutely do what you like to do. At first we didn't, I don't know if some of y'all might even remember, we didn't put labels on here. And then some of you guys kept saying, no, I need to know what colors y'all are using because I want to use the colors that y'all are using. So then we went to labels, and I think most people do like that. But certainly it's optional. Do whatever is going to float your boat, as they say. That's the cool thing about painting and art. There's so many things you can do different on these. The reason, honestly, I chose this blue, other than I just like it, which I do, I like the idea of having that blue here with nothing else. This is so much red and white and brown, if you will. I thought the blue just really broke it up, and it's kind of a lighter color. And I thought when I got to thinking, I thought, nah, I think we're gonna have to do some blue on that to just give us a little bit of a different. Now later on, I'm gonna get on here and I'm gonna show you, right now I'm showing you this part, right? So when you look at that, you can kind of see that white paint's there. I got a lot of paint, right? And sorry about the lighting. Again, I didn't put pink on the label. You can mix red and white paint. And then I'll get on here and I'll do some outlining on this guy. It won't take long. I'll probably do a little bit of outline on that envelope and on these hearts is probably what I'll do. And of course the dog. So I'll see you guys probably in a little bit. Actually a little bit, maybe a couple hours. I love the blue, y'all. I hope y'all do. Do y'all like that? I love that blue. To me, when you look at this piece, the blue just kind of sets it apart, as in it makes it look a little bit more springy, bright, vibrant, whatever. But I'll be back on soon. So y'all sign back on with me, hopefully. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, it's Mary at Yard Art or Us. I'm gonna work on finishing I Long to Be Your Valentine. Hope everybody's having a good evening. I'm gonna go ahead and start with I really like this sky blue. So I'm going to do, we're gonna see if this is gonna work. I'm gonna put a little bit of paint in here. I'm sorry, a little bit of water. So in the earlier videos, I did base coating and then I did some shading, and of course I did my lettering. I'm gonna put some water in here, and I shaded my #1 sky blue right here. So I did that, and now I did that with a flat tip brush. So now I'm gonna go back, hey there, and I'm going to just take that same paint with a script liner, and I'm going to do this. I'm gonna put quite a bit of paint down in that CNC etched line, just making my envelope have a little more definition here, and just getting some more paint down in there, making that envelope line pretty crisp and clean. All right, well, let's see, I messed that up, so let me kind of do that with my finger. So, hey, Debbie, how are you? So I am taking this and just putting some paint down in that etched line. This is sky blue I have on my script liner. Now, I've got a little wavy line that the CNC did, and I'm just taking that script liner and just dragging that paint all the way around that wavy line. That's all I'm doing, just kind of, It's just basically giving it a little more decoration is all it's doing. And I like that, so I'm good with that. I got my little wavy lines, so to speak. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Just kind of making it a little bit more decorative. Putting that paint there. Y'all, in case you can't tell, I love to paint. Love, love, love it, love it. Because it's just such a cool process. Hey Debbie, how are you? Hey, I have two Debbies on here. And I'm just putting some paint around here. Basically kind of giving it some decoration is all I'm doing. I'm using this script liner and just going wavy, I guess, wavy, jiggly, whatever the word is, for those lines around the pink hearts. And when I looked at this, I really wasn't, or when I first was working with it, I was thinking, you know, I think the hearts are okay and the envelope's okay, but I tell you, I think I'm liking them more and more, and I think it's because of that color blue. That's why, and I think it was Victoria that said it earlier, we've got so many warm colors over here, and this is a cool color. So that's kind of a contrast, if you will. So I'm just taking this sky blue and using this to kind of give it some definition and some more color. I think sometimes with, you know, and I know Ashley has said this, and it is so true. Just because you've done this forever like I have doesn't mean you're going to have the success every time on some of your ideas, you know. Sometimes Ashley and I both, we were on the phone some today going over this, trying to look at color combinations, you know, because the right color combination or the wrong one makes a big difference. And there's really not a wrong or a right per se, so much as it is just something that you really like. Because you don't want to paint something you don't like. I have done that, but I really try to avoid just, you know, but I mean, the good thing, I guess, is there's so many things that I do like, so it's not like I'm a real picky person to begin with. Y'all, this part up here, I don't know if y'all can tell, it's kind of little, but that's all right. We'll work with it. I'm having a little bit of trouble here. Now, if you feel like this part right here is just too much, you don't have to outline this, the white part. I do, but you don't necessarily have to. I think it looks cute, but it is kind of tedious, y'all. And I am having to, you really need a light hand with a really, really wet brush at this point. That's what you need. So, I cannot believe this is the last Monday of the year 2020. Good, bad, right, wrong, y'all. 2020 year is fixing to be over. And I know we're all hoping for a better 2021. I know I am, and I know y'all have to be too. I think everybody is. Okay, so I've got that, I think, kind of the way I want it. I like the blue. I'm going to show you. So that's what it looks like. I think the blue looks cute. Okay, so let me turn this around, and I'm going to work on, I couldn't decide right here exactly what I wanted to do with these letters. Did I want to leave them this way? Did I want to make them, did I want to outline them? I'm going to leave them for last. Now, when I'm working on this, the reason I'm going to leave this for last, I'm going to work on the dog next. And I like to work from here to this way, or from here to this way. Because if this is all wet and I'm go to work over here, then I'm going to mess all this up. So I'm going to save this part for the very last. Now, I think I left this out without a lid, y'all, today. Hey, Kitty, how are you? I'm so glad you could join me. It's super cool to see you guys on tonight. This is my third video today, just because I've been trying to show you guys from beginning to the very, very end of everything. So I did it a little earlier today, and I split it up so I could let things dry. So what I'm going to do And I've been kind of looking at this. This is the shading red that we have. And I'm getting ready to work on this guy and outline him. And I don't know if I'm going to like the shading red. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just give it a whirl here, y'all. Let me do a little bit of work right here and see if I'm going to like that. Now, I'm going to come up here. The one thing that I do like about the fact the shading red is kind of the boundary, if you will, between my dog and my red heart, and yet the shading red looks good against both of them, I think. So I'm going to come in here, and of course y'all know me, I'm going to make some strokes in here with this brush, kind of looking like that. And so I think I'm going to stick with the shading red because it looks good on the dog and it looks good on the heart. Hey Carolyn, how are you? I am working on getting this dog kind of the way I want him. I'm working on outlining him right now. Now, of course, there's no particular right way you can start or finish. You kind of just do what you do. And I think anything is good as long as you like the outcome kind of thing. But a lot of times with the shading red, y'all know I hand mix this, and so sometimes I get in here and I'll just start, even after I hand mix it and get it the color I want it, I will change it by adding more black or adding more red. And this is just, I didn't change this one at all. I left it the way it was. And I think I'm gonna like it. So we're gonna go with it. Now I made a bobo right there, but that's all good because that's part of painting. Of course, really, I guess the whole bobo thing is part of life too. Hey Kimberly, how are you? So glad you could join me tonight. I been doing a lot of lives to get this guy done because he just kind of had a lot of different parts to him. And I don't think we have any more lives the rest of the week. Y'all won't see us again till after the New Year. I think actually be a Sunday when Miss Victoria comes on. On Sunday, she's gonna do, on the 3rd, it's a Valentine's piece called I'm a Sucker for You. It's really, really cute. She's gonna be on Sunday. And so today's Monday. I might have to pop on here sometime this week because it sounds weird, but if I don't get on here and talk to y'all, I kind of feel like, where's everybody at? I'll miss everybody. So, but, you know, I feel blessed in a lot of ways to be able to paint because I love doing it. But, you know, let's not be silly, y'all. It's work. As anything in life worthwhile is going to be. You know, I think that's kind of the way it is. No matter what you do. So, somebody was asking me the other day, what are you going to do for New Year's Eve? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, well, where are you going? Go? I don't go anywhere for New Year's Eve. I stay home, y'all. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting to be too much of an old fogey here, but I stay home. No can do with going out. I always stay home. I'll be asleep by 10 o'clock probably. And I would think with everything going on in the world, most people would be staying home, but I don't know. Maybe people are out partying. I will not be one of them. I will be home sleeping. I'm going to bring this over here like that. Okay. Okay. So do that. And this little guy's going to have some white on him, but that's okay. We're good. Hey, Alma, how are you? I hope y'all are doing good. I think so far my little doggy looks kind of cute. Now, I'm going to try this. I really don't know on these letters. Sometimes outlining letters starts out good. And then when you get into those letters that are really close to each other, it can be a little challenging. So let's see how this goes before you decide if you want to do this on yours. You can kind of watch me. Because these on the top row are going to be easy, right? What's going to be more tricky is down here because they're more close together. But I do have to say, when you do outline the letters, I think it gives it a lot more definition. Of course, it's a lot more work. So there's always that. And earlier, my cousin is in from Florida, and my aunt came up, and so earlier we were laughing about how I have had 2 lives. This is my 3rd one, but we also were videoing. My aunt is in her 80s, and so my cousin was videoing me and my aunt trying to make some cornbread based off my aunt's recipe, which is not written down anywhere, and she's having a hard time remembering. So that was quite interesting. So y'all, I've been on camera a lot today. I'm kind of looking at my hair. Maybe I should have done something. You know how that goes. So that she has always, my aunt's a real good cook, but you know, like most good cooks, she hasn't written a lot of things down. And it's like, okay, this can be interesting. So I've been on camera a lot today, all in the name of, you know, Video Academy, Yard Art Academy, and then also and trying to capture family recipes that are not written down. So it's been kind of interesting. See what I did? And I don't worry about the paint on my body because it's not a big deal, but I don't want to mess up what I just did here, y'all. So anyway, I think I like the outlining, but I do think it's going to be a little bit more challenging when I get down here to those things that are a little bit closer. So I think what I'm going to have to do here in a minute, y'all, is I'm going to have to stop and get a smaller brush. Now, you don't have to outline this at all if you don't want to. I'm just doing it, but I'm going to hold this up. So this will give you an idea if you want to outline yours. You can see the top, and then really you can see the 2nd and 3rd line, and then you think, well, if they don't look that different, then you might not outline them. You know, if you think they look a lot better with outlines, then you could do that. All right, so we're going to, this brush is kind of big. I'm going to try to find a smaller brush. Let's see how this is going to go, because I don't really have a lot of small brushes. Let's try this. Okay, so these are a little bit thinner, as you can tell. These brushes actually came from Hobby Lobby, I think. You can tell by looking at them. This one over here looks kind of, I don't know what the heck happened to that one. So we're going to try this one, which is pretty thin. It's called a 30, number 30, and I think I got it at Hobby Lobby. I don't use it that much, but in this case, I may give it a whirl and see. Y'all, I don't use it that much, so I don't know if I can control it very good. Let's go over here so y'all can see. But you can see it gives a lot thinner line, but that's not going to work. I can't control it. So let me wash it out and see if I can find another smaller brush. You can see it just gives it a lot smaller line, which I do want a smaller line, but I got to be able to control it. And how I would do on a brush like that, one day when when I have more time, what I'm going to do is I would sit down and play with that brush and really work with it till I can get the hang of it. But since I don't want to do that right now because I've got too much lettering to do, we're going to try it this way. And of course, on these smaller letters, you just have to be more delicate. But I think the outline does look good. Now, I think I was listening to somebody the other day, because I am a member of several different groups, all painting groups. And this was not my line, so I can't say I made this up because I didn't. But the girl I was watching paint said when she's teaching people how to paint, because she doesn't do yard art, but she does like door hangers and canvas things. And she said the first thing I tell people is this is fun art, not fine art. So don't be so hard on yourself. In other words, have some fun with it. Yes, you want it to look good, but it doesn't need to be perfect. You know, that's not the point of what we're trying to do. I'm going to put some more water in here. So when I'm doing something like this, it's not that I don't think I'm being successful right now, but I'm trying to get that sweet spot between how thin do I want my paint, how small do I want my brush. So if I know my brush is suited to what I'm doing, and in this case I need a small brush, and if I know my paint is thinned down, I'm going to have a lot easier time doing what I'm doing. And so, because you don't want too much paint on here, but you gotta have enough paint to outline. So sometimes you just kind of have to play with it till you get to that point. I think I'm there. And I call this the sweet spot. That means, what is it I need to do to my brush or my paint, or both, to make my painting experience of what I'm doing at the moment doable. It doesn't have to be easy or necessarily hard, but doable. Meaning, I'm not struggling every single second trying to do something that my brush is not suited to do, or trying to do something that I'm not suited to do. Because let's be honest, we're all humans and we all have our tendencies and our likes and our dislikes, and we all have our, oh, I don't know what you call it, I guess things that irritate us or whatever. And as far as painting goes, I think it should be pretty doggone enjoyable. That doesn't mean it's going to be perfect all the time. You know, we have our moments. But sometimes I'll have to play with the brush and or the water or the paint to get it to do what I want it to do. Okay, so I long to be, and then of course we've got your Valentine in here. Is Ashley watching? I don't know if she is. You do like the outline, Debbie? I do. I think I do too. It just gives that definition, you know, and it gives it more of a finished look, I guess. As you can tell, it can be a little tedious, so you might not want to try to, if you do outlines, you might not want to do them all at once. Come back, you know, do a word or two, and then come back and do another word or two later. Of course, I'm going to do all of it at once so I can show you guys what, you know, hopefully we'll get to the finished product. Just curious too, I don't know if it works for you guys, like today, me going and doing multiple lives to show you all the steps. If you think that's a good idea, let me know. If you think that that's not a good idea, let me know. My idea behind that was just to make sure that I got to show you guys the whole process, if you will. Now, what I will do is I will take these videos probably tomorrow or Wednesday. I'll put all three of them together, and then I will put them in the Academy. So you don't have to go to Facebook and try to watch 3 different lives if you're going to do this. You can go to one place. Valentine's. All right. And I'm not worried about it looking perfect. Of course, I want it to look, you don't want it to look sloppy. So that's not the goal. Sloppiness is not the goal. But perfection isn't either. The whole point behind what we do, you want it to look handmade. So, yeah, y'all, I think I do like it with the letters outlined. Hey, Victoria, how are you? I liked it, but I don't know how you can piece them together. Well, I don't know that I said I'm good with the technology, Victoria, but what I have been doing is trying to learn. And so I have a Mac computer and I have an iPhone, and it does, I think, make it easier because there's a app on the Mac desktop computer. And so when I download these, I put it in that app on that Mac computer, and it's really not that hard to put all 3 of them together. You know, it takes a little work, but I mean, you know, it's not that difficult. It took me, of course, where do I go, y'all? When I can't figure out something, I go to YouTube and try to watch a video on how to do it. I'm sure that's what half the world or the whole world does at this point. So that's what I did. And so putting them together and putting them in the Academy in case you want to go watch, you know, all at once, then I think that's helpful. So, but typically if it's the Painters Club, I won't do that. I'll just, you know, do the video with the base coating already done. So, Yeah, but Miss Victoria will be the one next, and she'll be on next Sunday. So we don't have anything scheduled this week, but who knows? Ashley or I might have to do a little popping in and doing some videos. Because a week is a whole long time to go without seeing y'all. Look at you with all that. Hey, Debbie, aren't I learning? I mean, isn't that amazing? I like the way you batch the work into pieces. Okay, yeah. I think that's good too. You know, it's like anything else. I think most of y'all know I taught school for a long time, and I just consider it a personal challenge, I guess is the word, to make sure that what I'm doing, I don't know why it was so bad, Victoria, but I've got Connie looking at that. Connie's a lot better with that. Yeah, Debbie says she's proud of me for technology. She knows how challenged I've been. But, and I take this personally, y'all. As a teacher, of course, you know, like I said, I taught in the classroom for a long time. How can I say this? I don't think I put pressure on myself. That's not the right word. But I seriously think about, I need to do everything that I can possibly think of, whether it's something I need to say, to do, to demonstrate my supplies, whatever. I need to do everything I can think of to make sure that you guys, anybody who's tuning in or anybody who's watching me, particularly in the academy, I've done everything I can think of, humanly possible, to help you be successful. Because if you're not successful, then I feel like, okay, what is it I'm not doing that I need to make sure I do? You know what I mean? Now, you have to do your part too. I can't, you know, you have to, yes, I do, Debbie. I do like to challenge myself. In fact, I was saying earlier, I'm going to learn something called StreamYard. And so for those of you that didn't hear it earlier, one of the things I'm doing in the next couple of weeks is I'm going to rip out my art room here. My art room is at my house. It's actually the original 2-car garage for this house, but it was built in 2009. We converted it in 2009 from a garage to an art room, and I'm going to rip it out and start again. And the reason I'm going to do that is because the way we did things and the way I was working in 2009 is very different than what I do now. And part of that is technology, and what Debbie was saying. I didn't really know technology, and I'm learning, you know, but that's what you have to do. And so when Bruce and I were talking about it, he goes, well, why are you wanting to change it? And I said, well, the best way I can describe it is what I did in 2009 does not look like anything I'm doing now. And so it's mainly storage that I need different. And I'm going to have technology. We're going to have something called StreamYard. So I have to be able to put up 2 cameras. Actually, two cell phones is what they are. And so when I start using StreamYard, you guys will have the same view that you have right now, and the screen will be split and you'll see this same view, but you'll also see a view of the camera where the camera's right up here. This view, you won't see my face. It'll just be, you'll see it straight down. And so, but I've got to learn StreamYard, and I don't think it's that hard, but I've got to sit down and do it. So, but I need to set up 2 cameras for that too. So that's something I'm going to be doing in the next couple weeks to see if I can learn StreamYard. And if I can do that, then that's just one other thing in my little wheelhouse of making sure that you guys get to see everything I do. Because yes, you can see to some extent everything I do this way, but really you can't see everything. So if I could put it to where y'all have 2 views, an upper view plus this full-on view, just another way of making sure. I like to push myself to make sure I'm doing everything I can do to make sure that you guys are going to be successful. Because in the end, y'all might not know this, but when y'all post things that you painted, you know, of course I don't get to see everything, but if I see it, I like to comment, because as far as I'm concerned, that is proof that you guys are practicing, which, hey, y'all got to do your part too. It's not all me. But it's proof that you guys are practicing, and on some level that what we're doing, what Ashley and I are bringing to the table, is working too. Because, hey Debbie, how are you? That is angle camera. I watch decorated cookies. It does. You're exactly right. Because I've watched a lot of that too. And I don't know how they decorate cookies, but I think that's so awesome that they do. I don't know if I could do that. Well, I know I could eat the cookies, y'all. That I know I'm good at is eating cookies. Decorating cookies, maybe not. But you're exactly right, Phaedra. And I was telling Bruce earlier, I said, honey, I said, you know, the fact that anybody takes time out of their day to watch and want to learn to paint. Of course, we do yard art, but hey, if you can paint, you can paint on anything, you know. You don't necessarily have to paint yard art. It can be on canvas. It could be on, you know, ceramics. It could be whatever. And I want to make sure that I'm doing anything I can think of to help facilitate that, you know. I'm going to kind of just come up here and I'm going to start, and I don't really know where I'm going to go, but I'm going to put some white on this heart a little bit, not a lot. As y'all know, I like to have some highlighting and all of that. And then I think what I'm going to do, of course, my little doggy has to have something, and my little hearts have to have something as far as I'm concerned. You don't have to do all of this. I just like to kind of dilly-dally it up, so to speak. I don't even know what dilly-dally means, but y'all know what I'm talking about. So I like to do everything I can to make sure I'm transparent in everything I'm doing and give you the best shot at being successful. Because the more successful you are, the better you're going to feel, and the more I feel like that's a reflection on Ashley and I. If we're doing what we need to do, we're addressing, you know, we're teaching, answering questions, demonstrating, showing up for the videos, you know, explaining, showing you supplies and all of that. Chances are if you do your part and you practice, you're going to be good to go. And it's like I've said before, nobody can take that away from you. Once you learn that skill, nobody can take that from you. You might be painting on yard art today and ceramics tomorrow and canvas the next day or whatever, you know. So, but I love that. I guess that's the teacher in me. You know, I feel like even when I taught school to some extent, of course the kids had to do their part, but if my kids aren't learning, I'm like, what is it I'm doing? What do I need to do? What can I do? What am I not doing? You know, that kind of thing. Because that's important. It's important to me. And I know it's important to Ashley. We want to make sure. And Victoria, you know, she does such a great job too, because she's good at explaining. In fact, sometimes I'm watching her thinking, man, I don't know how she knows how to explain all that. But she does a great job. And so I will be learning StreamYard, and I'll be redoing my art room, and there'll be one day y'all will log on and you'll go, wait a minute, things look really different. And that'll be the purpose. Yep. Okay, I think I'm good, but I'm gonna show y'all. Okay, so we've got, I long to be your Valentine. I'm gonna put it up here just so you can kind of see those letters. They're not perfect, so if you're gonna do it, don't feel like yours is gonna be perfect, okay? Let's close that. Okay, and so, but I do think that they look good. And between this and then the blue and then of course the doggy, y'all know I love dogs. I only have 5. If you're the city of Pearland, I only have 3 because I think that's all we're supposed to have. You're both teachers, yeah. Good, thank you, Alma. That makes me feel good. Great piece, I enjoyed. Come by January for a few blanks. Good, good, good. Don't hesitate to reach out if there's something that, you know, we can do to answer, to do better, to demonstrate or whatever, because I love teaching y'all, but it doesn't do any good if y'all aren't, you know, getting what you need too. So it's gotta go both ways. But this is probably one of my favorites. Again, I love that sky blue on here, and I didn't think he was that hard to paint. And Ashley, Miss Victoria will be on here, y'all, on the 3rd of January. She's going to be doing something I'm a Sucker for You. We were going to do a sneak peek on the 4th of January, but we can't pull that off because Ashley's CNC and all of that is still kind of messed up. But I know Ashley will be here in the Academy doing the Valentine cat. And if y'all, I don't like to do a hard sell, but I'm going to try doing a hard sell right now. If y'all haven't seen the Valentine cat, I don't know. I think he's the cutest piece out of everything we've done in a long time. And Miss Victoria actually drew that Valentine's cat, and it is just super awesome. So Ashley will be here on the 5th of January in the Academy at 7 doing that. And then Victoria will be here on the 3rd of January doing I'm a Sucker for You. So hope you guys have a good one, and hope y'all have a good New Year. If you go out for New Year's, be safe. I stay home and go to sleep, but you know, I don't really have a life, so. But we will be seeing y'all soon, and the store will open on January 9th. If y'all need blanks, come on by and see us. Bye-bye. Thank y'all for watching. Love you guys.